Tonight on Newswatch, the Ohio Senate passes its version of the state's two-year budget after making controversial changes. Plus,
it's horrible. It was like nothing I've ever seen before.
Severe weather in the South leaves behind a trail of destruction. And Father's Day is this Sunday. What gifts can you give for Dad this year without breaking the bank? Newswatch starts right now. The Ohio Senate passes a $94 billion partisan budget after controversial changes. Good evening, I'm Arielle Lyons. Welcome to Newswatch. It includes 5 controversial bills lawmakers folded into the budget yesterday. The new changes include a higher education overhaul that bans most diversity training and faculty strikes. It also includes a bill to strip power from elected state school board members and give it to the governor. And it restores housing credits from Governor Mike DeWine's budget and puts $16 million towards the August special election on Issue 1. Republicans are touting the bill as a budget that gives money back to the Ohioans and meets people where they're at, but Democrats disagree.
Our obligation here is to produce a Senate budget that reflects where the state is now.
Cramming all these pieces of legislation in it that haven't been fully debated as part of a budget is showing bad faith to both the citizens of Ohio and to ourselves.
Because of the substantial changes made to the budget, it will now go to a conference committee to work out differences with the House budget, A budget must be approved before midnight on June 30th. The city of Athens is requesting bids for waste removal services for the second time in 6 months. The council passed 2 ordinances Monday night, one to give the city safety director Andy Stone the authority to request new bids, and the other to approve the extension of the city's contract with Athens Hocking Recycling Center. Athens Hocking will continue to serve the city until January 2024, while they debate over new bids from waste and recycling collection companies. Best and least expensive are Stone's 2 guidelines for the decision. Council members have had different definitions of what best means, but Stone says there are universal wants on council.
You need to have redundancy. So if a member of your team calls off for a day, that you don't miss a pickup.
Stone also mentioned having the right size trucks for certain city spaces and collecting recyclables as scheduled. A new Boston man is behind bars for allegedly killing his mother. Portsmouth police found 61-year-old Michael Smith while responding to 911 calls saying a man had jumped off a bridge. While receiving medical care, Smith indicated his mother needed help. Portsmouth police located 85-year-old Carol Sue Swim. She was flown to a hospital where she later died from her injuries. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation was contacted, and they say Smith severely assaulted Swim. Smith was arrested yesterday and is currently in Franklin County Jail, awaiting to be transferred to Scioto County.
Good evening and happy Thursday. We are almost to the end of this cloudy week. Now today we saw some clear skies and that carried on throughout the day, but we're going to expect that to change within the next couple of hours. And right now it's about 80 outside with a couple of clouds starting to move into the area. Now over the past 24 hours, we saw some high pressure start to dominate a little bit, and that kind of came in last night and carried on throughout the day today, which is why we saw those clearings of clouds. But now we're going to be watching what's going on up north near Michigan, because there's a cold front with a decent number of clouds and some storms being produced up there right now that's actually going to carry down into Ohio, and that's where we have a storm risk map. Now about central Ohio and a bit to the north of that is under a marginal risk, meaning we might see some isolated thunderstorms that could possibly be severe. But for those of us in this darker green area down in more southern Ohio, we're just under a general storm risk area. So that could just mean some thunderstorms that possibly won't turn severe. Now a lot of that's due to that cold front that's sitting right along here, and here we can really see that rain that's sort of sitting in the lower peninsula, and that's going to continue to move southward down into the area. Now tonight we're going to continue to see, we're going to see a 70% chance of showers that might turn into thunderstorms. That's going to carry on into tomorrow, and I'll talk a little bit more about the rest of the rain that we're going to expect to see tomorrow and even starting next week in my full forecast. Back over to you, Arielle.
Thanks, Emily. Carbon exchange, a market for buying and selling carbon, is starting to become popular among Ohio farmers. Companies like Nature Conservancy and Cargill are piloting carbon farming programs that many Ohio farmers are trying out. The program aims to help farmers reduce their carbon footprint by increasing carbon stored in their land. Companies then purchase credits from these farmers, which offsets their emissions. Experts say this follows the trend of big companies like Amazon and Microsoft attempting to become carbon neutral. Farmers who participate are expected to make an extra $15 per acre. A new restaurant and brewery opens next fall in Chansey, but it will be located in the old schoolhouse. Newswatch reporter Morgan Anderson talks to the locals who are turning their dreams into reality, one vacant building at a time.
This Chansey school was once filled with students. But one summer in the 1960s, school let out and never opened again. Brooke Madano and her husband Austin decided to give the building a new purpose in August 2020.
We moved down here and we heard that they may be selling this or that we could possibly buy it. And with the new Bailey's Trail System opening, we thought it may be a great opportunity.
Looking to be a place for both tourists and locals, the old schoolhouse is set to become Roe Hammer Brewing Company.
We're kind of hoping to be a restaurant for Chansey because there isn't one, and kind of be a main hub for the area.
The new owners say they want to keep as much of the original building intact as possible.
The stage is still going to have the brick on the outside, and we're going to try to keep the floors as original as possible. We may have to restain them, replace them just due to some past damage.
Why Chansey? The new Bailey's Trail System.
People are traveling from all over. We're seeing all different license plates from across the country up in Chansey, which is really fun because it's not something we're used to.
It's 92 miles of bike trails connecting Chansey, Doneville, and Buchtel. It'll be the largest trail system east of the Mississippi River when completed. Roe Hammer Brewery is the first major project in Chansey designed around the Bailey's Trail.
Chansey has a lot of grit. They've been through a lot. I think they're very deserving of all of this exciting development that's going on.
Breathing new life into an old building, the Chansey Schoolhouse will open its doors once again. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Morgan Anderson in Chansey.
To follow along with the progress on the old Chansey Elementary School, you can take a look at their Instagram page at Chansey Dover School Reno. Coming up after the break, student loans are making a change. Severe weather continues to wreak havoc across the country.
Severe weather across the country, like Ariel just said, but we're expecting some weather of our own. More on that when Newswatch returns.
He has a swashbuckling quality, so changed the language.
He's hungry, he's excited, he loved being in love.
They're absolute miracles of prose.
The Merritts didn't have a chance.
He's an odd bird.
How can you not be obsessed about death?
He was being treated for mental illness.
The man is much more interesting than the myth.
Hemingway.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
This recipe has been in my family's family for generations.
That's perfect.
I'm excited to see what those secrets may be.
I think that's a really great way to show who you are.
Your dad would be proud because this is delicious.
Welcome back to the Great American Recipe.
Here's what's new this month with Passport.
I just want to get to the bottom of it.
Why should you risk your neck?
Because somebody has to.
I would do anything to get some answers.
You can't solve them all, Ridley.
It's like a big love story.
These and all your favorite shows are available with Passport. Support your PBS station and stream more with Passport on the PBS app.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
The Washington Post reports Donald Trump repeatedly ignored the advice of lawyers who tried to prevent the classified documents legal mess he's now in. That includes an attorney who wanted to strike a deal with the Justice Department months ago to avoid criminal charges. According to the Post, attorney Chris Kise wanted to negotiate a settlement with the DOJ back in fall. Sources close to Trump's legal team have cast doubt on the idea it was a real opportunity to prevent Trump's indictment. Instead of listening to lawyers, Trump has been following the advice of Tom Fitton, the non-lawyer head of the conservative activist group Judicial Watch. Fitton started calling Trump back in February of last year, urging him not to turn over the documents or cooperate with federal investigators. Price transparency. That's what some companies are promising to deliver after voluntarily agreeing to disclose all ticket fees on websites before you get to the checkout page. The effort is part of a push by the Biden administration to eliminate excessive fees. Gloria Pazmino explains.
No more surprises at checkout. Entertainment giants Live Nation and Ticketmaster pledging to give U.S. consumers the ability to see the full price of their tickets up front, so you'll know what you're paying for before you get to the checkout page.
This is an important start. Getting everyone at the table and getting their commitment to provide a better marketplace for consumers, which today is rigged against consumers, is critical.
Representatives for major companies, including Live Nation, SeatGeek, Airbnb, TickPick, and others, gathering at the White House Thursday. The announcement marking Biden's latest effort to address economic issues that are top of mind for voters heading into the 2024 election.
This is a win for consumers, in my view, and proof that our crackdown on junk fees has real momentum.
The entertainment industry has been under a microscope in recent months, following scenes like this.
God, please! There are those who are in the business of grabbing up all the tickets at face value and sending them to a secondary market where there's multiple costs added. That's what happened in the Taylor Swift situation.
While Thursday's announcement may ease the shock factor at the end of your ticket purchase, consumer advocates say the public won't be protected until companies are faced with new laws.
The problem is you can disclose everything, all the fees and all the costs, and still take consumers to the cleaners.
I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
The pandemic-era pause on federal student loan payments is set to end, and this time there will be no extensions. The Department of Education has confirmed a timeline for repayments to resume. Karen Kaifa is in Washington with what borrowers need to know.
The Department of Education offering clarity for federal student loan borrowers. Student loan interest will resume on September 1st and payments will resume in October, definitively ending the pandemic pause that started in March 2020. For some, it will mean a major shift in budgeting.
A lot of them were using this for their everyday use to purchase medical expenses, to repay a car bill, get their car fixed, home improvements. Is a lot of things that have happened in this 3 years.
Jalen Herbin of the Center for Responsible Lending says borrowers should use the summer months to get their finances in order.
It is enough time for you to reach out to a servicer and ask the questions that you need to ask. How will this impact me? What are the changes that will take place from what previously took place? Or I am a new graduate. What do I need to know about my account? How can I make sure that I do not go into default?
The Department of Education says it will be in direct communication with borrowers before repayments are due. Borrowers are also waiting to see if the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program can legally move forward. 2 lawsuits accusing the Biden White House of overreach reached the Supreme Court. Their ruling is imminent. The Biden administration estimates more than 40 million low and middle income federal student loan borrowers would qualify for some debt cancellation. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Good evening, happy Thursday. We are almost to the end of the week, one more day, and then we're going to enjoy the lovely weather we're expecting to see this weekend. But right now in Athens, it's about 80 outside with clear skies, but we're expecting that to change later on tonight with some clouds beginning to roll in. But overall today we saw a high of about 81, and tonight we'll see a low of 56, so a little bit warmer than we've been seeing the past couple of days due to having some clear skies allowing for some warming to occur. Now with the weather we're expecting tonight, that puts us in a general storm risk area down here in southern Ohio. That means we're just expecting to see some thunderstorms possible. But for those of you in the lighter green area, you're under a marginal risk. That means that we could see some more severe type of thunderstorms occurring. However, that is nothing to be worried about. Now, a lot of this weather is coming up from Michigan, and that's going to continue on down into Ohio, and it might come at different times. So if you're living in more of the central Ohio area, you might see this rain and storms occur closer to 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. But if you're living more southern in southern Ohio, then you might see these storms come closer to 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, just due to the path of that taking from the north towards the south. Now, a lot of that's driven due to that cold front and that low pressure currently sitting up in Michigan. And we actually saw some of this high pressure earlier today, but that's clearing those skies, so that's beginning to move off towards the Atlantic. Now, we're not the only ones looking at severe weather possible for tonight. We're looking at Oklahoma and Texas right now currently have tornadoes going on. So they're experiencing a lot of weather going on, and there's also some going on down in Georgia, Florida area. Yesterday we had tornado warnings, and now there's a lot of thunderstorms going on. So we're starting off the summer seeing a lot of weather occurring. But tonight we'll just have that 70% chance of showers with a chance of that turning into thunderstorms and a low of 56, so a little bit warmer than we've seen the past couple of days. Now, within the next 12 hours, we'll expect to see this low pressure start to move down, bringing in a lot of that rain that we're going to see, as well as a cold front. So some of that chillier weather is expecting to occur overnight. So we'll see a slight drop moving into Friday night. And tomorrow we'll have a 40% chance of showers. That's mainly going to be in the morning as the system carries on overnight into Friday with a high of 75 during the day. Now tomorrow we can see that low start to take its way out towards the east, and that cold front's going to continue to drop. Tomorrow night the same thing's going to happen. That's going to continue to move away, leaving us with partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the day. But Saturday, this high pressure is going to come on in, and it's going to be absolutely lovely outside. Saturday and Sunday are both going to be dominated by that high pressure system, and it's going to be about in the mid 80s. But on Monday and Tuesday, we're going to see the advancement of a low pressure system into our area, and that's going to start us off with another rainy, cloudy week next week. So hopefully y'all still get the chance to enjoy any outdoor activities. Back over to you, Ariel.
Thanks, Emily. Like she said, two parts of the nation are dealing with two separate weather-related issues. While wildfire smoke is clouding parts of the upper Midwest, sections of the South are pounded with severe storms. John Lorenk reports.
Minnesota once again mired with unhealthy air qualities.
I don't like being around real thick smoke. This is pretty thick.
Minnesota is among the states in the upper Midwest that's once again blanketed with smoke from Canadian wildfires. The southern and central part of the state are under an air quality alert until Friday morning. While some people can take the smoky skies in stride,
it seems like it's higher aloft than it is down, so it doesn't seem to be affecting me.
Others are limiting their time outdoors.
30 minutes maybe. Go out, look at the river, look at everything around, go home.
Meanwhile, in the South,
you had to get down in the floor. The trailer started wobbling real bad, so we all just had to hunker down and try to just ride it out. That's the only thing we know what to do.
severe thunderstorms with hail, rain, and heavy winds are moving through much of the southeastern United States. Forecasters say 45 million people from Texas to Georgia are facing severe weather. And some areas, including Holmes County, Mississippi, are already dealing with damage.
It's horrible. It was like nothing I've ever seen before, not personally seen before.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The FDA's advisors vote to update the COVID-19 vaccine for the fall flu season. On a unanimous vote of 21-0, the advisors are recommending protection against only one coronavirus strain. If the FDA follows their lead, it will be the first time the vaccines don't include the original strain of COVID-19. That's because epidemiologists say that version of coronavirus is no longer in circulation. Once the FDA makes its decision, it will inform vaccine manufacturers who will gear up to make the final formulation available this fall. New data from Australia, where it's currently winter, shows flu cases began increasing early this year, and it could mean the U.S. is in for another severe season ahead. Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and what health experts say you should take away from it.
In the U.S., flu cases can happen year-round, but most of the time the virus peaks between December and February. So why are we talking about it in June?
We always have flu on our radar.
Flu activity in the U.S. is currently low, but in the southern hemisphere, officials in Australia say cases began increasing sharply in early May. That's an earlier start of the flu season than some years, with case numbers higher than the 5-year average, but lower than around this time in 2019 and 2022. The number of cases in kids is also being watched. More children in Australia appear to be getting sick than any other age groups this year. U.S. scientists typically look at Australia and other countries to try to anticipate exactly how bad the flu will get in the U.S. during its fall and winter.
We can probably expect the same thing to be happening with an early flu season.
Infectious disease specialist Ryan Miller with Cleveland Clinic says when flu season starts this year, we can all help slow the spread.
We still want people to stay home when they're sick. And if they are feeling sick and they have to go do something, wear a mask so that you protect the people around you.
Miller says it's also important to get vaccinated from the flu when the season gets closer.
Really want the high-risk individuals to get the vaccine to protect themselves, but then the lower-risk individuals who are seemingly healthy should get it so that they can protect their loved ones.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
After the break, how you can save on gifts this Father's Day. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
This recipe has been in my family's family for generations.
That's perfect.
I'm excited to see what those secrets may be.
I think that's a really great way to show who you are.
Your dad would be proud because this is delicious. Welcome back to the Great American Recipe.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains. Lively performances where old tradition meets new here on Song of the Mountains.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Donate your car, truck, or boat today, and in addition to supporting the programs you love, you'll also qualify for our most popular member benefit, PBS Passport. With Passport, you can watch incredible documentaries and dramas from Masterpiece, American Experience, Ken Burns, Henry Louis Gates Jr., Nova, Nature, and more. So skip the hassle of selling that car you don't use anymore. Go online or give us a call right now to donate your vehicle.
He has a swashbuckling quality, so changed the language.
He's hungry, he's excited, he loved being in love.
They're absolute miracles of prose.
The Merritts didn't have a chance.
He's an odd bird.
How can you not be obsessed about death?
He was being treated for mental illness.
The man is much more interesting than the myth.
Hemingway.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
Father's Day is this Sunday, and a retail industry group says this year's Father's Day spendings could break records. And if you're still shopping around for a gift, we have some valuable tips to help you celebrate without breaking the bank. Jen Sullivan has 3 tips to help you save.
Showering dad with love this Father's Day? You're not alone. Spending is expected to reach nearly $23 billion this year. The National Retail Federation says that would be an all-time high. It's predicting consumers will spend a record $196.23 on average. But celebrating Father's Day doesn't have to be expensive.
There is no better time to spend your money wisely than on the men in your life that you love.
Jessica Allen from the website Living Well Spending Less has some tips to help you save money while still expressing your love and appreciation for dad. Number 1, be intentional. As you might expect, some of the most popular gifts this year are clothing, gift cards, and personal care items. But Allen says consider crafting a heartfelt, personalized gift instead. It may be cheaper, and it's certainly more thoughtful than a store-bought item.
Get really specific. Do you have a movie buff? Can you plan early to go see a summer blockbuster?
Number 2, ditch the restaurant and host a grilling session. buy a cut of meat or veggie that he loves. Have it ready for a weekend celebration and a playlist of all of Dad's favorite songs.
Just ask him, would you like to grill for us or would you like us to grill for you? You're going to save so much money when you plan and have that beautiful meal at home.
Number 3, plan a memorable experience. Take Dad on a hike, picnic, fishing trip, or any activity that he enjoys.
For these men, love is spelled T-I-M-E. And so how can you carve out some time in your weekend to spend some quality time with the fathers in your life?
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Another savings tip, consider a group gift. If you have siblings or other family members who also want to celebrate Father's Day, consider pooling your resources and purchasing a joint gift. When we return, new pictures from NASA show a typical Martian afternoon. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
This recipe has been in my family's family for generations.
That's perfect.
I'm excited to see what those secrets may be.
I think that's a really great way to show who you are.
Your dad would be proud because this is delicious. Welcome back to the Great American Recipe.
So what's the story here? Something hush-hush?
It doesn't pay to dwell in the past.
So everybody keeps telling me.
I just want to get to the bottom of it.
Why should you risk your neck?
Because somebody has to.
I would do anything to get some answers.
You can't solve them all, Ridley.
That's got to be a lie.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
He has a swashbuckling quality, so changed the language.
He's hungry, he's excited, he loved being in love.
They're absolute miracles of prose.
The Merritts didn't have a chance.
He's an odd bird.
How can you not be obsessed about death?
He was being treated for mental illness.
The man is much more interesting than the myth.
Hemingway.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, NASA's Curiosity rover sent back a stunning postcard of what the Mars surface looks like at different times of day. The picture is actually a combination of black and white panoramas captured in the morning and the afternoon. A team added color later. The blue light signifies morning and the yellow indicates the afternoon. The shadows are more pronounced in the image because the photos were taken during winter when airborne dust is closer to the surface. Curiosity has been exploring the Gale crater since it arrived on Mars in 2012.
Now tonight we're expecting a 70% chance of showers with a small chance of that turning into thunderstorms with a low of 56. So it'll be a little bit warmer than what we've seen the past couple of days. Now with that incoming rain, we are under a storm risk area. Most of us are in a marginal risk, but those of us in southern Ohio are in a general storm risk, so we can expect some more intense thunderstorms going on, but for the most part, just a lot of general thunderstorms moving through. Now tomorrow we have a 40% chance of showers, mainly in the morning, coming from the storms that we're going to see tonight, and a high of 75. So attached to these storms is going to be a cold front, so we'll see a slightly cooler temperatures from today, but overnight that'll still be in the 50s, so still be pretty comfortable. On Saturday, we're going to see a high pressure system start to move into our area, leaving for a beautiful weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies in the 80s during the day, but starting off next week, it's going to be another rainy and cloudy week ahead.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Arielle Lyons. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.